All right, welcome in Ageless Talk Sports. UFC Fight Night, Hill versus Roundtree in Baku, and it's over in Saudi Arabia. I can't pronounce the name of the city, the country, whatever. Uzbekistan, something like that, in Baku. So it's going to be pretty cool. The main card starts at 3. Prelims start at noon, and I'll be getting home from work right around that time. First off and foremost, thank you for all the subscribers, and love you all. All right, let's get into the show. Moving into 600, I'm trying to get to 1,000. Now, we're going to do a YouTube question. We got the YouTube questions and showing the results here. Now, there was a football one. I know this is a UFC Fight Night show, and we're doing pick'ems and all that stuff, so stay tuned for that. But as for if you're subscribed to my channel, please do if you're not. And I have a question here. This happened last week, 6 days ago on Ageless Talk Sports. Here's a question. If you're a rookie QB coming into the NFL, which situation would you most likely want to be in? And that's what my question was. And everybody, so here's the 3 answers that I came up with. Backup to a Hall of Fame quarterback, backup QB on a Super Bowl team, and probably win the Super Bowl. I don't have that, but should put win the Super Bowl. And then be a first-year starter and win Rookie of the Year. And everybody, 100% said they wanted to be a first-year starter and win Rookie of the Year. And that didn't get a whole lot of votes, but it got some votes. And then here's the other one. Trivia question for you from last week. UFC Fight Night, who you got? And that was Kamaru Usman versus Buckley. And 57%, it was pretty close, 57 to 43% picked Buckley. And I myself picked Buckley. But Kamaru Usman gets the job done on the ground. And Buckley looked like he didn't know what he was doing with takedown defense and or the get-up defense. I say get-up defense. Everybody's laughing at me on Reddit. So screw you guys. It's get-up defense. It's the get-ups. But anyway. So there's your the trivia question and who you got from last week. And we're going to keep doing that because that's kind of like a little new segment there. We're going to just do it right in the beginning of the show. And there you go. And so last week, I'm not going to show the picture or anything like that, but last week I went 5-7 overall in the picks, and I did an underdog card. So I did pretty much all underdog picks, and only got 5 wins. So I just thought, I felt like it was going to be more of a, in Atlanta, I thought it was going to be more of an underdog show, but it did not happen. So let's check out some UFC news, shall we? UFC news. Coming out of UFC Atlanta, we were just talking about the fights and how I did, and now we're going to take a look at the UFC Atlanta salaries. So Rose Namajunas actually leads all the fighters with a $500,000 payday, comes out with $500,000 over her win over Miranda Maverick. Miranda Maverick looked really good. Supposedly she was hurt in the second round. I forget what she has a torn ACL, I believe. Torn PCL or ACL, something like that. And she fought through it. And she was I really think Dana's going to give her a shot. Not a title, but she's going to get some better fights there. And Maverick took home $125,000. I was trying to see like the picture here. There we go. Rose Namajunas, $500. She got a $250,000 to show and $250,000 to win. She got that. Shabazian came out with $186,000. Petrosky came out with $100,000, even though he lost. What was the second one? Michael Chiesa was second with $300,000. So he had $150,000 to show and $150,000 to win. And Wellmaker got $24,000, and then 12 to win, 12 to show. So Joaquin Buckley had $150,000, and he got the loss. All he had to do was lay on his back the whole time and get the L. So there is your UFC Atlanta salaries update from last week. Now we're going to take a look at sombering news here. Serious news. We're flipping over to some seriousness. I've been wondering about this because Ben Askren, he had like pneumonia from like a staph infection or something, allegedly, according to sources. His wife hasn't really been posting anything, but she said she wanted to be the first one to say something. I think this article just came out yesterday. So Ben Askren's wife, Amy Askren, she didn't want anybody else to post, and they didn't want anybody finding it out from anybody else. So she said, I'm going to post here and let everybody know how Ben's doing. He's 40 years old. He's just a year younger than me. And I'm going to be quoting this here from Amy. Quote, I haven't shared an update because Ben has been in limbo for a while, and I was hoping to have him wake up and be the one to decide what to share. I've had some media people contact me that way, or that they are going to share an update, and I would rather it come from me. Ben is still on a ventilator and an ECMO to support him while he heals. There are good days and bad, but on the good, they have been able to wean his sedation enough for him to open his eyes and squeeze his hands. His body can't handle coming off sedation too much yet. I'm still praying for a miracle with his current lungs, but they are currently starting the evaluation process for lung transplant. Please pray for his continued healing, and if the transplant is a solution, that he can get on the list quickly and easily. I know transplants are such a blessing, and I'm overwhelmed at the thought of him receiving a gift like that. No one would take better care of that gift than Ben. Thank you for every message and all the support despite this awful situation. I'm feeling so blessed by the community we're surrounded by. Give your loved ones a hug today, and make sure you're prepared for situations like this. Ben is the healthiest guy I know, and I never could have expected this. So Ben has fought a lot on the Bellator. He's coming from the University of Missouri with a nice collegiate wrestling background, and fought back in Bellator. He was a champion in Bellator. He was a champion in one championship at 185 pounds with middleweight, and he defended 3 times. His 2018, he was undefeated, and Askren went in MMA for a trade from one championship to UFC. In the flyweight division, champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson switched over to one championship, and Ben Askren came to the UFC, and that's how Ben Askren made it. But he does currently have a gym. He has a gym up in Wisconsin. He has multiple gyms up in Wisconsin that he owns, and he operates and trains different fighters and all that stuff, which is cool. Amy's with them too. Ben's out with them also. So, but he's in limbo. He had, like I said, he had a severe pneumonia. And he was like, we just talked about what Amy said. He was on a ventilator and all that stuff, and he's just waiting to see if he can get out of this. And he's like pretty much in an induced coma kind of right now. And hopefully his body fights it all off, and he becomes better, and they can get him going. But he's 40 years old. Thoughts and prayers out to Ben Askren and his family. One of the greats. I know he had a really bad knockout by Jorge Masvidal years back, but everything that I've watched and listened, and his friends and family and all the UFC fighters, he's well respected, and Ben Askren out here fighting for his life. And I hope you guys are give him some prayers out there. Give him some prayers. All right, so another one coming out of some somber news into some crazy, funny, however you want to take this. So Conor McGregor, a menace to society. Fans react to alleged Conor McGregor nightclub attack coming off of MMA fighting. He's once again ed the headlines. I don't have a video for you, which I probably should, but there is some pictures. Just don't want to get copyrighted, you know what I mean? Because every time I try to do a video and all this stuff, it gets copyrighted. So apparently he was at a nightclub. And he's up on top of, I think he's standing on a scaffold. He's doing something. And he's standing on kind of the stage and punches the guy in the face twice. There's a picture there if you want to look at it. So there's a picture there. He punches him in the face. And I'm sure there's going to be a big lawsuit. McGregor was fined liable in a civil lawsuit of sexual assault back in 2019 and another civil suit for sexual assault back in 2023 over an alleged incident over in Miami. So there's multiple things that he's been going through. And then he's also going through this fight now, which is crazy and intense. Not really considered a real fight. He just punched the dude in the face twice, and the guy's probably going to get paid. So I actually would love to be an able to get a punch in the face by Conor McGregor and got paid for it. And I probably wouldn't have to work again in my life. Anyway, so Conor McGregor news. Is he going to fight again? How much money is this going to cost him in lawsuit fees? How much is this guy going to get? What's going to happen? It's probably going to be hush hush, and it's going to be behind closed doors kind of money deal. But I don't know how. I'm just wondering. I just want to know how much this dude's going to get. That would be pretty sweet. If you know, let me know. So comment in the section there. All right. So there's your UFC news, UFC update for your UFC Thursday. And every Thursday, every fight week Thursday at 5 o'clock, be looking for it to drop. UFC Fight Night Pick'em Show. Let's go into it. We're going to do the whole card, and you get to pick your parlays. Heavyweight division, Hamdi Abdelwahab from Egypt, fighting Mohammed Usman. Now, this would be pretty cool. Brother to brother, back to back wins, week to week. You know what I mean? So, Kamaru won last week. Is Muhammad going to get it this week? He's at a plus 164 from Nigeria. Give it to him. Flyweight division. Number 12 flyweight in the world out of Russia, Tagir Ulanbekov against Azat Maksum at plus 235. Give me Tagir. I think hopefully that's I'm saying it right. And minus 290. Now we're going into the women's bantamweight bout. Irina Alexieva versus Claudia Segula from Russia and Poland. The Polish power, the Polish nightmare. So Irina is at a minus 225. We might go favorites and switch them up this week because we did all underdogs last week. Irina gets the win from Russia. Mother Russia. This one's from Mother Russia. Now we got another Russian versus an English person. So women's bantamweight bout. Daria Zalesnyakova, I don't know how you say that, versus Melissa Mullins. Isn't that funny? Melissa Mullins is taking on Daria Zalesnyakova. All right, anyway. Give me the English woman, Melissa Mullins. She gets the win over the Russian. No more Mother Russia. So middleweight bout. Remember, this is in Baku, and it's the prelims start at noon. Main card at 3. So watch it early, kids. You got to be up and watch it early. Hopefully you don't work on Saturday like I do, but fortunately, I get off work by 11, 12 o'clock, and I'll be able to get home and watch the prelims, baby. All right. Middleweight matchup. Ismail Narodev versus Jun Young Park. So give me Park, South Korean. Now, Oban Elliott versus Seokyeon Ko. This is another South Korean. We're going back-to-back South Koreans here. And then Elliott from Wales is looking sick. So Elliott is going to get the win. He does his little Hulk thing. He's like, yeah. And then he wins. So he's going to do it in the welterweight division. Now we're going into the main card. And again, it's a 6-fight main card. But because it's coming early fights, it doesn't bother me as much with a 6-fight main card coming in to featherweight bout. Mohamed Naimov versus Bogdan Grad. Tajikistan versus Austria. And we're going to go with the favorite and take a look at him right now. Let's take a look at his previous fights. The Hillman. Don't know what that means, but I'm sure they'll tell you on the UFC fight. Anyways, Naimov versus Offley. He gets the win back in February. Just won a few months ago of this year. Taking a look at 2024, he had 2 fights in 2024, and he went 1-1. He lost back in June of 24 via submission in the 3rd round with 1:15 left, and he won against Silva back in February of last year, again a knockout in 44-second knockout. So hopefully he'll do that again because he's looking to bounce back off of that loss against Lima. But he did come off a win against Offley. So we're looking forward to this. 6 wins by knockout, 2 wins by submission, 5 first-round finishes. He's only 30 years old, still in his prime. Turned pro back in 2018. 6 wins by knockout, 2 by sub. He's got a rear naked and an arm triangle and has won 7 of his last 8, which is a pretty good winning percentage. And he went 7-2 in Dana White's Contender Series appearances. So his last fight was UFC Fight Night, February 1st of 2025. And we just talked about that. Con Offley. I believe Con Offley was off the Ultimate Fighter from last season. So, and what's really cool too is this fight's actually going to be on ABC as well. So if you have ESPN Plus, congrats because you're like me and I have it. But also, if you have your HDMI antenna that hooked up to your TV, you can watch it off that as well too. That's how I do it. I don't mess around and pay 30 different stream sites just to watch a freaking one show. You know what I mean? Stupid. All right, now let's go into the lightweight. Nazim Sadikov versus Nicholas Mata. Now Mata does look pretty good. I've seen a couple of his fights. His last fight, he got the knockout, TKO. I believe that's what his last fight was. If that was the right one, Iron. Let's take a look. Yeah, he did. He did. Yep. So that's the one I was talking about. I don't have the, oh no, it was a decision. So we're probably talking about a different Mata then. Anyways, I feel stupid. All right. So he's at a plus 310 against the Azerbaijan. Maybe that's where they're at. Is that where they're at? I think they're actually at Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan? Yeah, they are. So he's a hometown hopeful, this Nazim guy for the lightweight on the main card. Second fight in the main card, minus 395. I don't know where he's going to close, but let's take a look at him. The Black Wolf, right in the backyard is where he's from. That's pretty cool. He got a doctor stoppage against Bonfim. Was a draw back in November of 23. So he went from November 11th, 2023 and went all the way to February 15th of this year without fighting. But he did get to win with the doctor stoppage. So look for him to do some nasty, nasty elbows and some punches. I'm really, really looking forward to this fight. All right. So we're going to go to the next one. Taufik Musayev versus the guy from Kazakhstan. So there's another guy, and he's making his UFC debut. He's also a hometown hero there. And there's not much I can see about him. Other than he turned pro in 2013. He's got 8 wins by knockout. He's got a heel hook, rear naked chokes, 14 first-round finishes. Owns wins over Patricky, Pitbull, Johnny Case, Krushank, Sydney Outlaw. So a lot of good wins over some decent fighters. 22-5, and he's making his debut against the Kazakhstan. I'm just going to botch these guys. Oralbay. Give me Taufik. So we're going to go back-to-back home guys, home dudes. Azerbaijan. I don't even know if that's how you say it. I'm so stupid. Anyway, so next fight, heavyweight. We're still just barely halfway through this main card here. So Curtis Blades versus Kunaev. The United States versus Russia. Blades is minus 265. And Kunaev is at plus 215. So I know Curtis Razor Blades was talking about how he's actually a number 5 ranked, the top 5 ranked heavyweight in the world. And he's talking about how this fight really isn't going to do anything for him. It's really kind of a downside, which I kind of agree. So if he wins, he's not going to move anywhere. If he loses, he might drop out of the top 10. So let's take a look at Curtis Razor Blades. He just lost to Tom Aspinall back in July. Literally that was last year, my bad. So he lost by knockout with 1 minute in the first round against Tom Aspinall. He won against Almeida back in March of last year. So he fought twice and he went 1-1. Let's take a look at 2023. How'd he do? He only fought one time, and he lost to Pavlovich via knockout in the first round. And he beat Aspinall back in July. Bet you didn't know that. If you know, you know. Blades beat Aspinall July 23rd of 2022 via knockout, 15 seconds in the first round. Don't mess with him. And then Tom Aspinall got it back and ran it back and got the win on his last fight. So let's take a look at him when he turned pro back in 2014. 3 first-round finishes, 13 wins by knockout, 13-4-1, no contest. In his last 18 fights, he's won 8 of his last 11 and 4 of his last 6. So Curtis Razor Blades going to look to get it down to the ground and do a striking, get to the ground, smash her face in, and get the TKO. All right, so Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes. This is going to be a really good fight, and it's also a pick'em fight. I'm not sure what closing is, but I think it's like a minus 110 and it's a plus 110, somewhere around there. Could be, and it obviously is a pick'ems. Fiziev is really good. The Ataman is his name and his nickname, but he has lost quite a few times. And the last time he's won, it's been a while ago. Against Dos Anjos, July 9th of 2022 was the last time Fiziev won. And that was a 5th round, last minute, 18-second in the 5th round KO. But he lost against Gaethje, he lost against Gamrot, and he lost against Gaethje again. A unanimous decision. So he's going to need to get off the schneid here, and he's going to have to get the win. I know he's exciting. I know he's good at fighting. He's good at stand-up. He's a nice kickboxer. He can kick, he can throw, and all that stuff. But it also, causes you to lose when you go for different things. So Bahamondes is pretty much a jiu-jitsu fighter, but he's also a stand-up banger. So it's going to be interesting to see if the fight goes to the ground. Can Fiziev get some defense against this Chilean? But give me Bahamondes by submission. Next, here we go. The fight of the night. UFC Hill versus Roundtree Jr. Fight of the night. Main event. Jamal Hill plus 130. Roundtree Jr. minus 155. Let's take a look at both. So, Sweet Dreams Hill is coming off of a loss against Yuri Prochovsky. And then he lost to Alex Pereira. And his last win was against Glover Teixeira back in January 21st of 2023. So look for him to bounce back off of back-to-back losses, multiple losses. And then let's take a look. Turned pro back in 2017, 7 wins by knockout, 4 wins by finishes, has 4 of his last 6. And he beat Dakeem Johnson back in 2018. So no one is giving him any love here. I think around 80% have said that Roundtree Jr. is going to get the win in Baku. Let's take a look at Roundtree Jr. In his previous fights, he lost to Pereira. He beat Smith by like a crazy shot. I think it was a left hook back on December 9th of 2023. Beat him by knockout, TKO, in the 3rd. I think it was a left hook that went straight to the noggin. And then Smith was just like off his feet on skates and just falls down. And then it's done and over with. Didn't even have to do a shot on it. But anyway, Roundtree Jr. versus Dawgs. Jr. gets the win on that. Roundtree gets the win on that one. He beat Jacoby. He beat Robertson. He beat Bukauskas. So he is coming off 1 loss, so which is kind of weird and crazy. Jamal Hill's coming off 2 losses. And which person is hungrier? Roundtree Jr. is coming off of a loss against Alex Pereira back in UFC 307. So we'll see. Roundtree Jr. going off of just body is freaking ripped, dude. So hopefully he gets the win because I'm picking Khalil Roundtree Jr. And there it is. But I do have a quick question. What happened? I swear I thought I heard something from Jamal Hill, his camp, that they weren't going to be going to Baku because of all the stuff that's been going on overseas. Apparently that's what I heard, and sources that told me about that. I heard and they told me. I don't know if that was true. Obviously not, because there's not a cancellation, which is crazy. So far right now on Thursday, there has not been a cancellation as of yet to anybody on these fights. So that is interesting, because usually someone drops out or someone gets hurt or something. But wait, there could be more. So Saturday, June 21st at Baku Crystal Hall in Baku, Azerbaijan at 3 o'clock, main card. 12 o'clock is the prelims. So make sure you are ready for that. And hope you guys enjoyed the show. Love you guys. God bless. Tip the waitress.